Hello everybody and welcome back to the Pleistocene channel Solo Survival Space Engineers series. My name is Daniel and let's see what kind of trouble we can get in today. I have a plan today to go ahead and deck out this ship, this small mining ship with a bunch of armor blocks. Give it a little bit of flair. Now I went ahead and produced a bunch of steel plates, and I've got a bunch of construction components in queue. So hopefully we won't run out of parts in the near future. I'm sure that's not the case. We'll probably run out of plenty of parts, but at least we'll hopefully be able to get started and get some things going without too much trouble. Okay, so I wanna add some steel plating to the ship. Now I'm not planning on covering up everything. I just want to give it an interesting look. Ships are more fun to fly when they look kind of cool. So I think I gotta decide the color scheme first. I usually start with like a black base coat, and then I add colors on top of that. So let's go ahead and make the whole thing black. It's pretty easy to do. All you gotta do is hit shift and color things, and then it colors a bunch of blocks around it. So we can make the ship all black in just a few seconds. All right, so we've got a black ship now. I'm thinking blue. What do y'all think? Should we do blue, like a nice royal blue, or maybe purple? Let's do purple. Let's see what colors we got here. So if we do saturation, ooh, that's a nice purple right there. I like that deep kind of purple. All right, deep purple, like the band. Okay, so yeah, let's do that purple. That's really cool. All right, so I want to add a few different things. So I like these blocks that let you do like half blocks. So we can put a few of those on there, and then I can something that looks kind of cool is if you turn them around, just looks like a little bit of covering there. And let's see if we put something like that. No, let's do this one. Yeah, we can do that. And then this block is the like the mid corner piece, and we can do that. All right, that's looking pretty cool. Now I'm gonna do most of the ship and then weld it up all in fast forward. But I thought I'd go ahead and see what this looks like. I just want to make sure it's the color scheme that I want before I go through the entire ship with it. Because you can paint the blocks afterward, but it is such a pain. So it's easier to put them on as you go, and make changes afterward. You can edit a little bit afterward, but if you try to paint the whole thing afterward, then it gets a little tedious. So oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, cool. All right, I think I'm gonna go with the purple. So let's deck out this ship like we want it to be. I'm actually gonna boost it up in the air, just because working on it on the ground is fine, but then I can't get to some of the pieces down on the bottom. So boost it up about there. Let it just hover here. Looks like our fuel time is hovering between 1 day and 62 days. I don't quite understand why that is, but either way, I'm going to assume that the thrusters will be just fine to keep it hovering here while I work on it. So I don't need this block anymore. Oh, I don't want to destroy that, though. I don't need this block anymore because that was just there when I was going to use it to place something, but then I didn't end up placing it. So we can go ahead and replace that with something like this. Alright, now, like I said, I'm not going to cover up everything, but actually, you know what? I don't even want that many. Yeah, well, maybe I do. Yeah, we'll do this on the end here. Actually, wait, what can't we do the other one? Oh, there's some cyber hounds getting killed. Alright, yeah, let's use these, and then I can do something like, actually I can just go out like this. Ooh, that'll look good. Yeah, that'll look good. Okay. Yeah, so that means I need to take these back out, and then these in. All right, so there are a few little design elements that can make your ship look really cool if you just take a little bit of time to flesh it out. And then on this side, it's going to be there. All right, so this landing gear is actually going to be in the way, and that's okay because I wanted to move it back anyway. So I'm going to take this off of there, fix that block underneath it, and then move the landing gear actually back a couple of blocks. So I need to take off this block. Now, if I just go through and make every bit of the steel plates purple, it's going to look a little weird. So I'm actually going to make this stripe black, but I'll do that later on. Okay, so then put that here. Okay, now this is where I can't go any further back. So I'm going to stop this here. Just put one of those on, and that'll kind of finish off that line. Alright. And those thrusters are facing outwards, so that should be fine. Alright. That's going to look cool. Okay, those thrusters are good. They'll just stay right where they are. I'm not going to touch them. Let's put some blocks in here. Actually, I like these half blocks, so let's do that. And then we can turn them around like this. Ooh, wait. No, let's do that the other way. We'll do that along the length of the ship instead of across the width of the ship. Let's do it like this. And then go back. Okay. Alright, that's going to look good. Let's do a little bit on the top here. Now these are these on the top are actually going to be a bit functional because having the large reactor there exposed is sometimes a dangerous prospect. So what I'm thinking is I want some stripes on the sides here. So I'm going to put stripes going along this. And by stripes I just mean like little armor blocks that are kind of gonna look like stripes down the side. Although, do I want it that high? Yeah, that'll be okay. Let's take it down here though. Okay, and then we need one of these here, one of these here. And then we can finish this off with a couple of the half blocks, or, partial blocks. Now, you probably saw that a minute ago. As I'm adding weight to this thing, it will start sinking. Now, I'm not adding enough blocks that it's going to be too big of a deal. I actually don't like how high that is. So something else you can do is, rather than... I also don't really want to cover up this intake, just because I think that might look kind of weird. So what I'm going to do here is just a little accents right there. And actually, I think I'm just going to leave it right like that. I think that'll look really good. Let's do some accents here. And then the ones in the center are going to be the actual functional ones. So I need to cover those up. And then actually on that... Oh, I ran out of hydrogen. Okay. Well, at least I wasn't too far above the ground. Let's go refill my tanks real quick before we continue. Easy, easy. The good thing about having a drilling ship now is I don't have to worry too much about getting ice, because, I could have gone and mined it before, but now I can just bring it back in really, really large sections. All right, so what I'm actually thinking, though, is that I can start those off with the partial blocks like this. And then just continue it back like that. Now I am going to make this one go up to a full block. And then I can just go down the rest of this ship with these, and it's going to look fantastic. One thing I got a little used to in creative mode that I'm having to get out of the habit of is working in symmetry mode, because you can't use symmetry mode in survival. But that's okay. I hope this isn't going to interact with our connector, because that connector still needs to be functional. Alright, that looks good. Let's mirror what we had on the other side. So the block there, and then we've got the partial blocks going down from there. And it really doesn't matter if you block air intakes in this game. I don't know if they're ever going to change it to where you do actually have to have the air intakes open. If you do, then things like this wouldn't be possible. So I couldn't put like the rear-facing thrusters right up against the down-facing thrusters, because there's not really enough room there for it to get air for it to produce thrust. So the whole point of that is for it to be able to intake oxygen, and I don't know. I mean, apparently there's enough space in there to be able to intake oxygen, which is good. But okay, so for the back here, I'm going to. I think I want to do something like. Ooh, yeah, this will look cool. Let's do something like this. Now, there's not a half block that goes in between these, which is unfortunate. I think that'd be kind of a cool addition, but I can just do this, and I think that'll look pretty damn awesome. So just leave it like that. I could even put one right here. Yeah. All right, so I think this is going to make it look really cool, so I'm going to go ahead and spend some time. I'm going to weld this all up, and then while I'm on fast forward, and then I'll come back and we'll see what we think. We'll maybe touch up the paint in a few places. So, all right, enjoy. While adding to the aesthetics of this ship, I actually considered covering the whole thing up with blocks, but I've kind of gotten out of doing that lately. When I very first started playing Space Engineers, you know, that was kind of the thing to do. You basically built up the components of the ship, and then you completely covered them up in armor blocks. So, I mean, to an extent, that makes sense. I mean, you don't want your components to get destroyed, but on the other hand, the armor blocks add a lot of weight to the ship. So what I've tried to do here is a couple of things. First, I want to, you know, add to the aesthetics of the ship, which is great. And I do think it looks a lot cooler. But on the other hand, I also wanted to cover up specific components. So some of the things that are easily damaged are like the reactors and the gyros and things that are integral to the functioning of the ship. Because if you lose, like, all of the thrusters on this ship are redundant, so there's extra thrusters. So if you destroy one thruster, then it's not the end of the world. The other thrusters are going to be able to compensate for the most part. I mean, it's not going to be as efficient, and I'll have to replace it, but it's not gonna not function. But if you lose the large reactor, or if you lose a gyro, or maybe two, I mean, even the gyros are redundant, but if you lose one or two gyros, then you start get into kind of a pickle. So other things that are really important are the cargo containers, but unfortunately those have to stay within like accessible distance, or at an accessible place. Now you could cover up all the cargo containers and just rely on the connector to get, you know, to be your way into the ship, the heart of the ship, but it makes it a little less convenient for things, especially things like ore. Like if I need to transfer ore by hand and I need to go through the connector, it's not quite as easy as going directly to that cargo container, because going through the connector, you always have to search for the item and then get it. Now, something I do hope to do in the next couple episodes is actually like rename all of the components on this ship to like to something unique that I can actually refer to. So I can type in one command and it'll bring up all of the cargo containers for this particular ship. So I think that'll help in the future. Okay, so I've welded up the ship. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to touch up the paint a little bit here. Just wanting this big block of purple in the middle isn't as cool as I want. So I'm thinking if maybe I make that black. Yeah, that's a pretty cool look. I was also thinking maybe I'll make little spots here. Awesome. All right, and I extended these little flares in the back. It's for two reasons. One is actually functional. So now if for some reason I back into a wall, I'll hit these armor panels instead of directly hitting the thrusters. But the second thing is I think it just looks cool with them sticking out the back a little bit. So I think overall a pretty cool ship. We'll see what it looks like in the daylight, and hopefully it'll live up to our expectations. So let's see how we're doing on the making of components. Yeah, we got a good amount. So what I'm going to do real quick before we end this episode is I'm going to add a productivity module, or actually two productivity modules to the assembler. I feel like it's moving super slow, especially when it's making construction components. That just takes a long time. And I think we can do a little better. So let's see. I think I'm about to run out of hydrogen again, so I don't want to fall to my death. But I do want to take this down, make sure we're in the right spot. Oh, it's going to be there and here. Right? Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm going to refill my hydrogen containers really quick before I fall to my death. I might need to make some more hydrogen. Ooh, and I just realized we have some silver ingots, so I can actually make the third tier of tools now, too. So that's ideal. Did I? I didn't take those back out. Oh, God. All right. Let's put some of those away. Oh, that's full. No wonder. Okay, let's take those back out, and then we'll take, I don't know, let's take 100 steel plates. So that way we can actually get these things. Okay, so we want that side, and we actually want this side. Because you can put the modules on any side of the assembler. But the other two sides are actually taken up by being attached to other things. So I'm going to put the two productivity modules on these sides. And I'm using productivity because, for one, you can't use an effectiveness module on an assembler. And two, the amount of power that it's going to take is fairly inconsequential in the grand scheme of the base. So better to make things faster than to worry about the other potential uses. Alright, so we need construction components, small steel tubes, construction components, small steel tubes, large steel tubes, and motors. Okay, 40 of those, 20 of those. Okay, this is going to be a few trips, so I'll fast forward through this part real quick. It won't take long, but I'll fast forward through it anyway. During this part, I actually realized just how terrible my production is. Like, it's super inefficient. I need several more assemblers. I need a lot more refineries, and definitely some arc furnaces. So I'll probably do that in the next episode. That actually may be what the next episode's focus is. So arc reactors, assemblers, and refineries. Okay, so we've now got our assembler fixed up. So I'm gonna actually spend a second here and go ahead and make the rest of this station match the parts that we've been doing. So I'm using control right now to be able to control where the paint goes. I actually want to make those guns red again, though. Yeah. This is probably something I should have done a while back, but just didn't seem like a priority. But now that we've got some good ore going, we've got some materials going, we could take a minute to fix it up, make it look our own. So. I can probably, these batteries, I fixed up the battery that I destroyed the last episode, and unfortunately it came back with 0 charge. Probably should have just destroyed it in the first place, but then I tried to recharge it, and it was actually pulling power from the other batteries, and I figured that was kind of useless, so I stopped it from doing that. But once we get enough uranium, and we can kind of rely on the generation from the solar panels and the uranium, or the reactor, then we can start worrying about that again. So, alright, so I'm going to put some of my red back. I'm going to make these guns red. Let's put a red stripe around, maybe here. That's going to look cool. I was a little worried that wouldn't, but I actually kind of like how that looks. That's going to look good. Okay. Make this rotor red again. And then we've got a lot of things inside the base to paint. I think I'm going to go with like grayish on all these things. Actually, no. That's not going to work because some of these things are actually attached to the outside too. So I'll leave the components gray, but I am going to paint all the blocks black just so they match. Is there a way to paint these gray blocks? Oh, there we go. And what a pain. Okay. Paint that and that, and then these blue blocks down here I think are the last vestiges of the blueness of the station. Okay, so we've now kind of made the station our own. We've decorated the ship over here, which I'm actually going to call one of my favorite characters from the movie/comic series Watchmen. I'm going to call it the Ozymandias, which we're going to call the Ozzy for short. Ozymandias. And then we're going to have the antenna broadcast the name of the ship, and this is the Pleistocene space program, so we're going to call this the PSP, or we're just going to say the name PSP, and that's what all our antennas are going to broadcast along with the ship name. So Ozymandias PSP. Alright, so we have completed our little mining ship after 3 episodes. We built it up, built a little framework for it. We added the thrusters, then we finished up the reactor, and then we added all the plating. So now that is complete. We painted our base finally. It is no longer the blue and light gray color of the atmospheric lander. So I feel like this is kind of home now. We've made some good progress. We've gotten to a place where we can start working on some other fairly large projects. So we'll see where that goes in the next episode. I'm going to make this red. Just some little red accents all over the base. Very nice, very nice. Okay. All right, so thank you again for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you would like future updates, go ahead and please subscribe. And otherwise, I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.